Shalom and welcome to Challenging Torah, a project of the Malibu Jewish Center and Synagogue. We are in the portion of Vayera, the second portion in the book of Exodus. And God appeared to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, God tells Moses, and now I am appearing to you to complete my process, my promise to take you out of slavery back to the land I have promised you after 400 years. And Moses says, the people cannot hear me because of their pain. And God heard their groaning. And God says to Moses, go. I will take them out of Egypt. I will redeem them with an outstretched arm. You are to stand there in my place. I will be the one who brings them forth. I will free them. I will redeem them. I will take them, and they will know God. Those are the 4 cups of wine at Passover. And we know that this Passover story, the story of slavery to freedom, is at the core of our essence as Jews, and that in every generation we are to regard ourselves as if we have personally left Egypt. B'chol dor v'dor. And we then see God's actions. God does harden Pharaoh's heart because God needs it really to play big. He needs the Israelites who are afraid, who are sunk in their own despair, kotzer ruach, a lack of an ability to pull themselves together and to help themselves out of slavery, as well as Pharaoh's arrogance. God needs something a little splashy. How do I get your attention? We ask one more time. And so we know this is the story of the plagues. And as we do our Passover Seder, we take our little pinkies and we go, Dam, Svardeya, Kinim, Arov, and we name each of the plagues. And it just goes right by as a fairy story. Not really. The plagues are there to get our attention. Of course we're going to ask, what about plagues in our lifetime? To me, up to this year, I thought it was a trite question. And now I realize we are at a tipping point. There are other tipping points. The destruction of the temple in Jerusalem was a tipping point. The Holocaust was a tipping point. We are at a tipping point, not for Jews, for the world, as we look at the plagues that surround us at this moment. Dam, blood, let's mention violence. Violence is everywhere, from gun violence in America to the fact that endlessly there are incidents in Europe. It's a year since Charlie Hebdo. So many have happened since that time that we don't even, we almost forgot that incident because we're worried about hostages in a theater. We don't even react when hundreds are blown up by suicide bombers in a place like Libya. It's too far away. Violence is part of our everyday life. It is a plague. We look at the plague of climate change. Climate change itself is not a plague. Had we known how to accept its reality and to modify our behavior, now it may be too late. We're looking at disappearance of species, the hottest year on the planet, very bizarre weather patterns, 72 degrees Christmas Day in New York, and huge thunderstorms and tornadoes across the country. And this is just the beginning, and we know it. And as that ice cap melts irrevocably, we don't know what it's going to do. This is a plague because we didn't pay attention without the plague. That's the story of the Pharaoh. We continue to look at our plagues. I was looking for 7. How about racism? You shall not keep another human being enslaved. We have slavery all over the universe, all over the world. And we know that the Black Lives Matter movement, much of their text is based on the story of Exodus, from the beginning of the civil rights movement. We have a plague of refugees, of displacement. Often a curse in the Bible is, and you will wander from place to place with no one accepting you. We're seeing that now for millions and millions of people on this planet. It is a plague. We have a plague of anarchy. governments that fail and all of the results of a failing government. There are only 7 plagues in this Torah portion. They saved the last 3, the big boys, for the end. But we're going to go ahead and talk. There is the plague of darkness. We are in a plague of darkness. We are governed by fear and insecurity at every turn. We don't dare walk through an airport, get on a bus. People are after you with a knife in the middle of Jerusalem or shoot you down in a cafe in Tel Aviv. But what about San Bernardino, as we say, oh, we're so safe? We're living in a time of extreme anxiety. Locusts ate up the food supply. We are living with a plague of food insufficiency for much of this country, and certainly hunger throughout the world. Not because we can't grow the food, we can't distribute it, because greed keeps some of it to one side, and we're not aware of the need to make sure that everyone has food. The last plague is the plague that we dread, the death of the firstborn child. Just saying those words puts a chill in our heart. But really, what planet are we leaving to our firstborn child? It's not too late. All of these plagues are to encourage you to return to the source, to rise to a higher level of consciousness, to change, to transform. This is a transformative moment, and the planet needs to take it. Shabbat is a time we get to contemplate our own transformation and the transformations through our actions that we want to encourage. Shabbat Shalom.